Yo, what's up, everybody? You are tuning into another episode of Understated, where we focus on the artists, the music, and the impact. Today, we have a very special show because this is more of our newer content of us trying to get back into things and, most importantly, be consistent with you guys. But enough about that. We're getting straight into it. We are going to talk about what occurred this weekend. So, a little bit of context. This past weekend was the Roots picnic. Now, if I believe, usually this picnic usually takes place in June, but this year's been a little bit different. You had Memorial Day being early, certain things being a little bit early, so that's not important at all. But this Roots picnic was a bigger deal than most Roots picnic years prior because we had the one and only Jay-Z in Philadelphia. He was the main headline of the Roots picnic. So this, if you haven't been following, Jay-Z has kind of been coming out. He's been coming out under his rock. Like, we have no pun intended to, by the way. But he's been a little bit more outside. You're seeing him more. He's done an interview. Was it with GQ?
I can't remember. I just remember
Yeah,
YouTube watching it on
he
YouTube.
had an interview with that. He's been out just a little bit more, kind of. If you're paying attention, it's kind of seeming that he's going to be dropping something. Um, he's going to be
Yeah,
dropping
I heard
some type
rumors
of
that he's.
project. There's
Yeah, I
rumors
heard
as
rumors he's
well
dropping.
that he's dropping some type of project. So this is aligning up with that rumor. This is pointing to it. So this appearance at Roots Picnic this Saturday, it's starting to the dots are starting to connect. So while he's performing, he breaks into a freestyle. And could we show that? Let me bring that up.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Let me bring that up. So at the picnic, uh, Roots Picnic. All right. So let me share my screen. All right. Can you see it?
Not yet. Now I can.
All right, cool. So this is the Drake set. Dude, I saw this one meme which was pretty foul. They compared him to Medea. I don't know if you saw that one.
No, I didn't. I didn't see that one.
It was foul. But I'm like, all right, shit. Jay-Z let the locks loose. I'm like, all right, I see you, bro. I wish I had that much hair. But this is one of the people he has taken shots at. So this is Drake, and this is the Drake freestyle. I wish should have been a little bit more
Is
prepared for
is it-
this.
is it- is it accurate to call it the Drake freestyle? Because there are a lot of people that
Yeah,
you know.
but didn't he break it up into it wasn't one full. Like I think was this in between songs? Like he
The
would he
vibe
would
that I
do a
got was.
freestyle and then a song and then another freestyle. You know how when you're watching like a show and they do that?
Yeah, I don't know. The way that the clips had come through that night, it was sort of like I don't know if the freestyle all happened at once and they were broken up into individual clips. The way that I perceived it, it all happened back to back.
Hmm.
Nonetheless, there were shots taken at multiple people within the music industry at the time of his freestyle.
Yeah.
And I think it
So
was long overdue. I want to say that first and foremost. It's not that Jay-Z is taking shots at Drake specifically because he has an album rollout. I think Jay-Z has been quiet about a lot of things happening in the background for quite some time. And yeah, we'll get into that.
yeah. So we mentioned the first person. So the people that he's seemingly addressing are Drake, Kanye West, Nicki Minaj, Dame Dash, and a little bit of Tory Lanez called Astray
Yeah,
with this.
yeah.
So those are the people that we understand what he sent shots at or addressed. He was addressing some stuff. So let's talk about where Jay-Z is at. Let's go back to where Jay-Z is at specifically in his life,
All right.
because
So yeah, I mean,
there's a
if
lot.
commercially speaking, I think, and which a project that I was a big fan of, was 444. That was the last, his last solo project that came out, and that was what, 2017,
Yeah,
I
holy
think,
shit.
and that's yeah, speaking that's like 9 years ago. That's one of my personal favorites from him. So getting the and it's not to say that he hasn't been doing features since then, but that was the last project. So all of this happening right now. I mean, he does do the picnic, but this potentially being setting the stage for the album rollout, I think build some sort of excitement. Obviously, because hip hop right now is uh, it's at its height of its beef culture. So I think this is just feeding into that. And I think that when his project drops, now you because this freestyle came out, shots were given. It brings more visibility and interest to what else is Jay gonna say on the project, and if anybody's gonna respond in the interim.
Yeah. Like you said, it's been a lot a lot has happened since 2017. So I, he might have been on a feature for the Lion King album.
Was
I
he?
think he might have been.
I don't think he was. Not on Definitely not on the
On
first one. I
the, you
listened to that
sure not on
album.
the first one?
I don't think so.
Okay, nah, but he
I
had a
think that
song.
was
Remember,
most.
he was. I remember Childish was on a song with him and Beyonce. I could have
Oh, they
sworn,
were.
bro.
They were
Yeah, I could have
together.
sworn. I could be wrong, but I don't want to take time. But yeah, like we have gotten not a lot of music from this guy. He has I think it's been confirmed his net worth is like $1 billion. He's just been focusing on Roc Nation in his
Yes,
business endeavors. Like that's
and,
pretty much it.
and I think we should go into that a little bit more because if we're going to talk about the artist, I think it's important to talk about where Jay-Z is now, versus where he was before. And there's a lot of things about Jay-Z that has evolved beyond his artistry that needs to be addressed before we go into this topic. So, um, I think Jay, for the most part, he was kind of Teflon for a while until his business dealings started coming up with the NFL. I
Yeah,
think that's when a lot of
just
public
gotta
sentiment.
stop the kneeling.
Yeah, we got
Stop
we
the
got to get
kneeling.
past the kneeling, right?
Get past the kneeling.
Public sentiment changed towards him being involved with the NFL and the Kaepernick situation and how that didn't play out the way that I think a lot of people thought it was. I thought it would. It did lead his participation and involvement with the NFL did see and lead to a lot of hip hop being featured for the halftime shows. His involvement, that alone has been a big deal. His involvement with all of that has led to Kendrick performing at the Super Bowl. So in terms of visibility, I think you got to give him props and dap for that, even if you don't like how the Kaepernick situation turned out. But I think that is when the artist thing, he started to lose the artist title and became the bad black capitalist, if you were to put it in cultural terms for some people. I don't agree with that assessment, but I think that that's the underlying theme here, is that Jay-Z is strictly a capitalist, and the sentiment in this country right now is very anti-capitalism, and you kind of look at these guys as the bad boogeyman. So now with him coming back, it's like, all right, there's going to be a lot more scrutiny, and there's been a lot of uh,
Chatter.
chatter and accusations thrown his way in the last few years from conspiracy theorists to his alleged, because anything associated with Roc Nation is associated with Jay-Z, like he's just sitting in a room making evil decisions over everybody's life in the music industry. So that's why I'm saying, like, for him as an artist, there's the artist part of Jay-Z, and then there's how people are perceiving him, which is beyond just being an artist right now.
So why with this, just to stay on what's going on currently with his life, why do you think, what are the accusations besides black capitalists that he's been coined to? Because I think this will help when we get to the freestyle and the shots specifically.
All right. So naturally, there's being chronically online, you find these things, right? So the long-standing rumor is that Jay-Z and Beyonce are involved with the Illuminati. This isn't new, right? That was always the conspiracy theory, right? And as conspiracy theories have sort of ramped up, uh, thanks to people being online all the time, people could kind of say whatever they want. There were people that had beefs with Jay-Z, so they accused him of things. And then, with the whole P. Diddy situation, there was a false accusation of Jay-Z being involved with I don't think it was necessarily trafficking, but being witness to or participating in the assault of somebody that was underage. That wasn't true. And a lot of the online media space ran with it until it was debunked because there was that lawyer, Tony something. But I can't
Busby,
remember
yeah.
his last name. But yes, that was dismissed. So there were a lot of things. There were people talking about his children, Kanye in particular. Um, and then if we were to go along those lines, it's like, all right, so there's this part where people think that Beyonce is being completely controlled and manipulated by Jay-Z, which is odd. There's the thing that they think that Jay-Z groomed her. It's like a lot of these things that were online and that that can easily be kind of debunked took a shape of itself and has been traveling because everybody's more online now. These rumors tend to spread, and this is a culmination of all of those things. I mean, we could get into the Meg The Stallion thing, Roc Nation, and how this bleeds into Tory Lanez, Drake, all of those things. But yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot to even try to explain it right now in 5 minutes.
Yeah. With Jay-Z, it's like with me, 444 is like the album was the first and only album I could understand from Jay-Z because
Okay.
that shit, all his other shit, I wasn't born yet, or I was just too young. So
Mhm.
444 was when that was like the peak of when I really was engaging with rap a lot, and I enjoyed it as well. So I didn't really have any problems. I didn't really look at him like it's like definitely the old school versus the new school. I don't look at Jay-Z as much as, yo, this dude is like, you know how people are like, yo, Jay-Z, bro, he put me on how to make like he was like this educator, like that's cool, but that wasn't, I didn't get that Jay-Z experience. I don't, I like what Jay-Z has been doing outside of the music, and that's just my point of view.
Mhm.
So when it comes to now the music, we got to definitely get into it because this was all the setup for this. So again, Roots Picnic this Saturday, he comes on stage and all of a sudden he's addressing. I don't want to say sending shots because let's not we now know with beefs these past few years, this is not a Kendrick like that by any stretch of the means. This is not that. I do not consider that. Would you agree?
Oh, 100%. I think even trying to equate that with this moment is trying to relive something that was it's not the same. It's the aftermath of that. I think it's definitely where we are. There's a connection, but I don't think it's the same shot as Kendrick dropped on
Like that.
like that with Future.
Yeah.
That came out of nowhere and it wasn't anticipated. I think after Iceman came out, there were shots that were definitely delivered that set up the atmosphere for what we're seeing right now.
Hmm. So again, he goes the shots that everybody can assume are targeted toward Drake, Kanye West, Nicki Minaj, and Dame Dash and Tory Lanez. I think with everything that we mentioned before, and we're not going to treat our viewers stupid. They know what's been going on. Like
Do they do they, Ken?
with some of
I don't think they I think for to a degree there's a because I think there is a subsect of people that are like, wait, why is Jay-Z throwing shots at these people?
okay, so Jay referenced comments Kanye previously made involving his family and children. Um, basically, didn't he say uh they were special needs?
Yeah.
He
He
said they
kind
were
of said,
special needs. Then Nicki Minaj, this one goes to this goes to a lot.
yeah,
Um,
that one's a
this
lot.
can be
That's
linked to Lil Wayne not getting an appearance. Um,
The Super Bowl
Super
spot
Bowl appear.
allegedly,
Yeah. Uh,
allegedly.
damn. There's a lot with this one, but
Yeah,
Young Money, the whole label situation, stuff that we don't know, we're privy to, but these are rumors that are these come from insiders. What these rumors have stemmed from, and then Dame Dash, Dame Dash built up this company with him, and then they split apart,
yeah,
and then
the Rockwear and stuff like that. Yeah,
Tory Lanez as well. Tory Lanez was Tory Lanez alleged that his lawyer, the person that was defending him, was kind of a mole working for Roc Nation, and he wasn't doing a good job. That wasn't proved. That wasn't proven. But there's speculation. There's more to it. So again, this is for once I can say I don't know if I'm being out of bounds here, but right now for this situation, it's not about what's been proven. It's about the story. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about? Like
yep,
it's not about what's been proven yet. We're gonna get into that where when we do need to say that kind of stuff, but this is the information. This is the story of how this night culminated this Saturday. So I first got to say that when it comes to the freestyle, um, I thought it was just a freestyle. It wasn't anything. I think the biggest impact is the shots. Like if he wasn't throwing shots, this wasn't going to be recorded. But that's besides the point. I think we first need to address that. Just personally, how my reaction is. It's about time he did this because I don't believe in the good guy, bad guy. I don't know these people. So it all comes from I like to think of perspective. Jay Z was minding his business. I think that is objective. Jay Z has been minding his business, hasn't been saying anything. He's been doing his own thing. Now there's been a lot of people, Nicki Minaj, all these people have come out and called him out subliminally, directly. So all I'm saying is it's about time that he said something.
hmm. Yo,
And
Cam, sidebar. Are we allowed to use all this footage?
I think so. I don't think it's a problem because it's a performance and we don't
Okay.
have audio, so we should be
Okay.
good.
Yeah, I just want to make sure because if we're gonna keep using it, I don't want us to get
Yeah, I'll stop share. Yeah,
yeah. Okay. Yeah. You could continue.
but yeah, that's all I'm saying. Like I Drake, I didn't like him sending. I didn't like the subliminal he sent to Jay Z on Iceman. It was a nice ass bar though. It was a nice ass bar, but I didn't like him sending shots to Jay Z. It's like I don't. I get kind of tired of this subliminal shit where just like yo, if it's business, just let's see who really man. Just air the shit out.
Yeah. Okay,
Like,
so
stop
that
talking about it. It don't know. Stop talking about it. If you're gonna continue, it's like, okay, one shot, okay, cool. Two shots. What are we doing now? If this is business, it needs to be behind closed doors. I'm tired of this subliminal shit. So
all right,
that's where I'm like,
here's
Drake is like, come on, bro. You shouldn't have said shit.
all right, but here's the thing. Everything has been behind closed doors. And that's why we are where we are in terms of the music and sending shots. The Kendrick and Drake and J. Cole situation was business behind closed doors. That's why, till this day, we do not know why that beef started. Because
That's
everybody
true.
wants to be hush hush, and then nobody asks any of these guys the real hardball questions. So then the answers are never there. And then the only way it comes out is when these guys, because they're artists, express themselves through the music. And you see that there's this tendency with all of these guys. They're cool at one point and then they're not cool. And then they're cool again and then they're not cool because Jay-Z and Drake have had on and off being cool and not cool. We understand that there's some streaming platform business deals that happened beforehand and how all of that played out. And then more importantly, there are strategic decisions being made by Roc Nation. Again, I don't know if Jay-Z is included in all of those decisions, because it's again, it's an organization, it's a company. I don't know why people have this tendency to think that it's just always one person making all of the decisions every day, like some evil like cartoon villain. But that's oftentimes what it gets portrayed as. And but we do know that there's stuff going on behind the scenes. And I've always said that a hip hop civil war was coming ever since Like That had dropped. I felt like the stage was being set. I think that my my time frame on that happening was off. I thought it would have happened by now, but I still feel like this the stage is being set for that, especially as hip hop, its popularity in pop culture has been in question for the last 2 years, with all these articles talking about hip hop is dying, like it's the only genre that exists in the music
Yeah.
industry. But yeah, I think there's a lot of things to be addressed, and the only way we're getting this information is through the music, or
Okay, that's fair.
somebody's baby mom dropping a leak audio. I think that's the
Yeah.
only way
Yeah,
we're
that shit's
we're
good. Sauce
getting
Walker, bro. You got something explaining to do with that shit. That's crazy. But yeah, there's a lot of threads to this story, and that's what sucks because we don't have an I definitely don't think we have enough because like the whole Tory Lanez thing is, I will say that shit is weird. I don't know what's going on with that, but I think Tory Lanez was wrongfully, I think he's wrongfully in jail right now. And
I think there's some discrepancies with that case that, if
yeah,
objectively speaking, there's some oddities that should not be ignored. But I don't know how that scales up to Jay-Z and
yeah,
making decisions. Like, you get what I mean? Because it's like, we saw the footage. It's like he's making that accusation. Then Tory Lane's dad, there was video footage of him being like, Jay-Z, Roc Nation, y'all will pay for this. Like, there's this behind the scenes stuff. But I'm like, why would Jay be involved to that degree?
yeah. Because let's
You get
mention
what I mean?
something. I think this is very important to know though. And it's something very simple. Jay-Z is not the CEO of Roc Nation currently. Like that
Yeah.
that does need to be said. Like Bill Gates is not the CEO of Microsoft.
Yeah.
Isn't Jeff Bezos not the CEO of Amazon right now?
He's not the no.
Like it's someone else. It's moved on. So there, being a CEO, that means you're in the trenches day to day. Stuff
You're
doesn't
in the
get past
trenches
you.
day to day,
When
and
you're
you go ahead.
yeah,
I was
when
just
you
gonna say
yeah,
you're the the CEOs get to be the spokesperson, but at the end of the day, again, I don't understand how people are missing this. I'm like, there's shareholders, there's boards. It's like there are multiple people within the company or organization that are making decisions that span way beyond any of our understanding because we do not, most of us are not in that business. Most of us are not dealing with the day to day. And it's just easier to point to the one person who you are actually familiar with because most people will not be able to point out in the street who else works for Roc
Yeah,
Nation.
the Roc Nation. No, nobody. You walk right past them. So that's the thing that makes things. We need to make things clear because these when we're talking about this topic, which is the music, the freestyle. He's to me, I like how he's coming out saying these things because it's like, why do you guys have so much smoke for me? That's what
Yes.
I don't get with the whole Jay-Z rumors discussion. It's like when Nicki Minaj is going off on this guy. Remember the Rico Nation and the Desiree Perez situation with her daughter and that weird case?
Yes.
It's
Yes.
like,
Yeah.
but where is Jay-Z in this? Like, I don't get what are you talking about now? Like, I'm not with like I don't want to do with this company. Like, I've done my job at this company. I've moved on. Am I some type of consultant, like a higher up consultant? Yeah, but that doesn't mean like you think I can just go like, yo, hands down, we're having a meeting right now. No, Jay-Z's not doing that. So that's what I just when we go back to this freestyle of which what I liked about it, it was him getting shit off his chest. It's like I'm getting all this smoke and I just think you guys don't know what the hell is going on. But you can't go into that. The more you explain, the more people are going, hey, then why didn't you do that? Why didn't you do that? It's like you can't win. So it's just, there's just a lot of things to this. And I feel like we're going to get more to it. And it goes back to why we need this lawsuit, this Drake lawsuit, because we need shit to come out. There's
Yeah.
just too much information in the music industry specifically. I don't know how, I don't get how tech that moves the GDP, music does not move the GDP for this goddamn country. Video games, movies, TV shows, we have access to information that goes down. Shit, we have access to CIA operations about decoupling freaking countries. But when it comes to streaming data, this shit is zip tied shut. We don't have
Yes.
no information about music. I'm like, what is going on? Wait. So we don't have what was the big impact by Drake not going with Tidal? What ramification that exactly did? We don't have stuff like that because when
We
he's
don't,
going after Drake, it's like this stems from that.
this stems from that. We don't know the aftermath of, again, a lot of these things, it's behind the scenes stuff. What was the aftermath of the UMG TikTok deal? Right? Like these are all like components to all of these things that were happening. Remember, you and I were privy to it when the beef was happening in 2024. Most of the information regarding the music industry was covering the beef, but it was not talking about these labels having to do reshuffling. It was not talking about the massive layoffs that were happening. It wasn't talking about the Granges in um restructuring themselves to become power players over more of what the industry was doing and their role in it. So all of these things begs the question: who are the most important people in music? And I think that is
Yeah.
where Jay-Z's legacy and impact will be determined by what's happening going forward because Jay is a person that is capable of, like, again, sending shots in a way that is um it'll pique your ears up, but more importantly it will peel back layers to other things. I think what Drake does is very similar in the way that Jay-Z does. It's like there's simplicity in some of their rhymes, but the simplicity is like it does so much more damage in it because they're willing to say certain things that other artists aren't willing to do or say.
Yeah. So nah, because this is hold on. Because it's interesting. Why do you why do you think he's going back to the music? Why now? I think that makes things very interesting. Like
Um,
why now?
I think a lot of artists are running back to music. I don't know if it's a
Yeah.
money issue. I wouldn't assume that, but I do see the window closing on some of these artists being able to put out their art in the same way because of where technology is headed. So there may be that. Secondly, an artist, I don't think yes, there's the music business, but I think when it comes to artistry, oftentimes when you hear artists, it's more of a, it's not something that you can describe in the same way you can a job. It's not something that you're just sitting down 8 hours a day and coming up with music. It's very free flowing. It's very intentional. I'm sure he has his process. Um, for the longest time, he said he doesn't write. So
Hmm.
and maybe after everything that's happened, this is the level setter because I think this is one of those things where it will sort of level set things. I thought that I was wondering where when Drake came back, what that would do to music, but it seems like we just went right back to where we were.
Yeah.
It like the impact of what happened 2 years ago is going to be a blip, and we always suspected that because it was like Drake's consistency would always. It's like the hard work would always beat out anything else because you're just
Yeah.
consistently putting out good work. But with Jay-Z coming out, somebody who is considered of a higher caliber and now addressing things and it's within the light of beef culture being at its highest. It's a wonder if when Jay-Z comes out, bless you, and he drops
Thank you.
anything, is it going to is it going to reignite things? Is it going to now galvanize other people to come out and speak and rap? And that's why I always said about
Yeah.
the hip hop civil war. I'm like, does this give you guys now the muscles and the courage to be like, yeah, all bets are off
Yeah.
because this tribalism thing that's been happening is has definitely leaked into hip hop where sides
Yeah.
have been chosen.
And what's funny is I'm gonna do the correct thing here. Music has now turned into almost like a gossip. You have to for your songs and your album, you have to talk about something that relates to somebody else.
Yeah, to get clicks and attention.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I'm not gonna just point this out to just hip hop because they like to do that shit in the media because we know pop songs that Taylor Swift Bad Blood, that shit is a diss track towards Katy Perry. So they try and act like it's all glitz and glamour on that side, but they just get down just like hip hop.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's funny how things work out that way. Now that there's just no sense of unity anymore. Everything is so fragmented.
Hmm.
Nobody is together, and this goes to show there's no passing of the torch. I'm not one of those people where it's like, yo, there's no respect for like Jay, like there's none of that. It just seems that there's not one voice, there's not one movement, there's no. It's just let me grab what I can for me and my family and my people, then I'll be good. It goes to show with this freestyle where it's like
Hip hop is a representation of where America is at right now. I think
I think that's a really good analogy for it. Yeah.
yeah.
The
Yep.
we always say we point out the big artists are getting bigger. The new artists, the small, which is the lower class, they're getting weaker.
Yeah. I like that Billboard. When you showed me the charts, I went back and looked at it, and the amount of Drake songs that are dominating on the billboards is sickening. It really shouldn't be that way. Like it's problematic. I'm like, okay, so wh where is everybody else gonna fall when it comes to getting spins and getting plays? And now and that's my question. All right, so Jay-Z drops an album. What does that look like? Because we're in the era of streaming where everybody's comparing numbers.
Yeah,
And if Jay-Z, now that he's done this, the natural narrative will be, well, how much did he sell first week in comparison to Drake? And I'm like, this is a different, we're dealing in different times with different animals, different metrics for success.
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know
Like
where this goes, but
Jay
I need to
Z's
see
out.
where he is.
Yeah, like Jay Z's album. Think about this. TikTok wasn't a thing. Um, what is it? Trump was elected, right? Trump was elected.
Yeah, he was elected the year before.
He was the year before. Um, Twitter is now X. Like this is so, and now there's podcasts.
And there's
Jay-Z
Clippers.
wasn't competing with podcasts. GTA
There's
6 is coming out. Like we have to be real about this shit. So when it comes to a Jay-Z album, if you're expecting more than Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, then I think you're bugging. I'm expecting like 200K, between 200 to 400K for Jay-Z.
yeah.
But that and that's big. That's still big dog artists. That's still big top tier artist numbers. But that's I would say that's still lower end of the upper echelon of artists.
Yeah, and on top of that, Ken, should we even be comparing the numbers? I'm like, it's almost
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
right,
it's no
right.
point.
You're looking at, if you were to put one artist, it's like, all right, this person, you're looking at football stats, basketball stats, baseball stats, because they cover three different sports. That's what Drake does. He covers different genres. Then you're going to do that to Jay-Z to say that it's the like. That doesn't make sense because Jay-Z's only making hip hop. He's making rap. So why would he even be able to touch those span of numbers? But
Yeah,
I think that's what's gonna happen. It's like everybody's gonna conflate it like it's one and the same when I'm like, we're you're comparing apples to oranges here.
yeah. So you don't think he should do you think there do you think he should have some pressure though to sell?
Mate, for one, does he need to sell? Is the real question. Because for an artist of his stature that has made a lot of money, that has made a lot of money outside of music, and if you were to say he's only doing this for the love of his artistry, does the numbers really matter
Hmm.
to him? Right? Secondly, it's like, okay, he drops the project. Are can you look at the project without looking at the beef aspect of it? Because that becomes the thing. It's like, yo, you can kind of hear the narrative. He ain't saying nothing on this. He ain't. It's like, but what are you looking to hear? Because we know that lyricism is not the top priority for a lot of people unless it's explicitly spelled out for them, so that somebody else online will point out a lyric and they'll be like, "Oh, see, yo, this is tied to all this."
Or if
But
it's the person they like.
if it's the person they like, but so it's like the same measures what we grade an artist by, or what we grade Jay-Z by, should not be the same standard that we grade today's artists by, because none of these podcasters, none of these, most of these music, they are not grading them by the same standards at all. You get what I mean? It's like,
That's interesting what you say. But don't you think so what about Kanye West?
Kanye West is not graded by those standards either.
You
And
don't think he's graded by the streams?
mm-mm, mm-mm.
Okay. I
No,
think that's fair. I think that's fair. Yeah.
the reason why I say that is because Kanye still is able to operate because he was blackballed for all sense of purposes. It's like he had to go other routes outside of streaming, and you see that even though his they're not promoting his stuff, he's still doing big outside of it. You get
Yeah.
what I mean? So I'm like, these legacy artists, they have to be graded by a different standard because they came in at a time where listening to music and how music was consumed is very different in comparison to today.
Okay.
You get what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
it's just on a different level. Like what do most because it goes back to consumer behavior. What are consumers even listening to the music for? Before, back
Yeah.
in the day, you had people being able to recite Jay Z and Nas's lines. You were able to recite, look like this is how I'll be able to tell you. These people have gone so far to say Lil Wayne has always been trash.
Oh
Like
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like it's weird because it's like I live in a time where when I was growing up, I really got interested and found out about Lil Wayne through Carter 3. And I remember at the time, Carter 3 was considered really, really good. It was really, really popular.
Yeah.
And then now, if you were to go online, the sentiment was Wayne was always trash. His bars were never good. But it's like a lot of revisionist
Yeah.
history. So I don't know if we can have a genuine, honest conversation about Jay-Z's music in today's time and era. I don't think you could have it on
I
podcasts
think I
that are looking
think
for
I think
clicks.
it's yeah, I don't think you can have it because I can already tell when the music comes out, you're looking at Jay-Z as I think the narrative has done its course. I don't know how they're going to combat this, but I think most people look at Jay-Z as like you said, like a kind of like a billionaire, cigar in his mouth. The typical like I'm gonna screw over my employees. So this like I just think when they come out, you're gonna get a mix of array of opinions of
Yes.
people who don't listen to Jay-Z, people who do listen to Jay-Z. There's just so much shit when this album comes out, and the impact of it is gonna be very weird because I'll say right now the impact of it is gonna be one of those things where you're not gonna realize unless you're really paying attention, you're not going to realize what it's going to usher in. It's going to be the end of an era almost. Like
Yep.
I'm really like this music stuff is not going to be the same. There is something that they're cooking up where when you get genuine artists, all of that stuff that you wanted back in the day that we used to get is going to be gone.
Yes. And I think another part of this conversation we have to have, it happens in hip hop a lot, but it also happens with music, is it's going to be a conversation about age. That is going to be an underlying factor for a lot of these things. When it comes to music, artists tend to blow up when they're younger. There's not a lot of support for their later music and their later catalogs. And even if you were to have this conversation about age, I don't think it's like Drake is going to be 40 soon. Jay-Z is in his 50s, right? And it becomes a thing. It's like with the average consumer, are you able to listen to and process music from an older artist that's more seasoned, right? Drake
Hmm.
tends to make music that appeals to an array of people, but it still appeals to a younger crowd. Jay-Z does not. His music appeals to people that grew up around his age and time. So it becomes a question. It's like, all right, so is even his project going to be given a fair shake in today's era? Because we all have that tendency when it's older music, we look at it. Well, I wouldn't say we, but when you're younger, you kind of look at this stuff. It's like, I'm not into listening to that. Like
Yeah.
when you're listening to Cardi, it might be very difficult for you to listen to somebody like Jay-Z. I just think there's going to be a lot of weird conversations around what this project does if he does come out with one. And I don't think there's going to be a real honest conversation that is going to happen um, objectively outside of maybe us.
I just don't like when what happened with Jay-Z now. It's like there's so many extra outside stuff that is now messed up Jay-Z. It's like I said, like for me, I didn't care about I wasn't listening to Jay-Z. My friends weren't really listening to Jay-Z like that, bro.
Mhm.
And so when 444 comes out and I give it a chance, I'm like, yo, this shit was pretty damn good. So
Mhm.
I don't have any problems with Jay-Z. I'm not a fan. I can't really say I'm a particular fan of Jay-Z because you got to be anticipating a next project to be a fan, at least in my opinion. But like I'm not saying I don't like Jay-Z either. So it's just weird that how the media has spun this thing where Jay-Z is let's be honest, oh, you've been heard that oh, he's a coon, he's a sellout.
I don't like that.
He's with the
Yeah.
NFL, he's a black capitalist, he's in the Illuminati, he's in all these things. It's like when this when people start to rag on something a little too much, that's when I start to go I will be that person where it's just like, you know what? I'm gonna jump on the other side because this is kind of weird. Like, why are we all following the same thing when I don't you don't know this guy? And
I
Jay-Z,
I
especially growing up, Jay-Z, nobody talks shit on Jay-Z to the point where it was like, damn, I'm gonna start talking shit on Jay-Z. But now it's like, okay, you're bringing up all this stuff like academics talking about, oh, he was hanging out with Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, and Ivanka Trump at an event. And it's like it's a little weird when you bring stuff up like that because I don't with Trump's second term, this whole political diaspora has been flipped up on its head.
yeah.
Like for a fact, we know there's so much gray now of being on the left and being on the right where it's just like come on bro you got to add a little bit more nuance with it where if they're at an event with them right they're
Bro,
billionaires
bro,
like
the
you're gonna
money
cross
doesn't.
paths like that
Yes.
shit doesn't mean I'm politically aligned with you that means nothing
Yeah.
especially when you grow up if you're around white people you know hey this white person I definitely could not be in a situation with him having my back. We all know that, but we could still be cool. That's the nuance with it. I know the dirty shit you're doing. I don't like it, but having a one-on-one conversation and having meetings and being at a certain event, then it's gonna be it's gonna be something that it's like okay, like I'm gonna be keep it cool, cordial. So I don't get how that what I'm saying is I don't get how that information is a shot at Jay-Z being hypocritical or something. Like that's just what that's what I don't see that.
Bro, like I said, I look at these situations and I kind of laugh. I'm like, the people that make these commentaries, I'm like, you guys wouldn't even speak up if you saw your boss doing something crazy. But you have all this smoke for other people that have billions of dollars and doing deals. Like you guys got so much integrity, bro. Bro, let your girl check your phone. That's all I'm
Like
gonna say.
this
You
shit
get
is
what I mean? I'm like,
crazy.
it gets wild. The academics thing, it's like he shows his personal bias with the Jay-Z thing. Because I'm like, bro, you just came out like a few weeks ago talking about, yeah, you voted for Trump. You didn't give a damn. So I'm like, for you to be like, look at him, look at it. It's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
But that's
I
where,
don't.
again, the lines are murky. The money doesn't have a red or blue affiliation. It's passing through many,
Yeah, it's
and this
like
is way more complicated and complex than most of us know or even care to know because Most commentary, it's like it's coming from a place of ignorance. It really is.
Yeah.
Most of the commentary a lot of us do comes from a place of ignorance because it'll you'll always hear it. I don't know why. I don't understand. Did you look it up? No, but a lot of us just crash out, have to give an opinion. And I think I want to see what happens here. I want to see what
Yeah.
happens here.
Yeah. This is we can go down that rabbit hole, but I do want to talk about what we mentioned. It's just funny how this went to a different level when Diddy was taken down.
Yes. Yes.
Like
I
this
think a lot
is
of this is a lot of what we've seen. I do not think it's coincidental that this is from the fallout from Diddy's situation. I think all of this is tied, all of these beefs have a downstream effect from Diddy going away. Um, we won't get into all of those details there, but there's information out there to suggest that some of these power players, there was some sort of chasm or fallout because of what happened with that trial and that whole situation and who was involved with what.
so it's yeah. Um I
Yeah.
said that this is a weekend that can be much bigger later in the year.
Yes. And one thing I
I
do want to say
yeah.
before we kind of wrap up here is that, and you mentioned it before, I find it weird whenever there is a significant amount of rumors or speculation that is promoted that is negative about a particular celebrity all at once. I think people need to understand that there are media campaigns. I think people need to understand we live in a world where um, negative attention is what results in clicks, and whether they're true or not does not matter because you guys will blow they will on social media they will blow up the rumor, they will blow up the negative stuff as much as possible, but then when the rumor is debunked, it's very quiet.
Yeah.
When anything is debunked, the information and the correction is very silent. And what I see has been happening with Jay-Z looks more like smear campaign type of stuff that culminates over the course of years and results in the place that we're at. And I'm always weary about when it happens to black artists, black celebrities. It's a pattern.
Yeah.
It is a
That's why
pattern
I
of
find it weird Jay-Z and Drake. Like there's been smear campaigns on both of them,
yes.
especially Drake.
Yeah.
So I'm like, isn't there's no alliance with that? But I get it. It's two different things, business, and then there's that. They just share a commonality.
Yeah.
But that's
And
why
on
I'm
top of that,
surprised.
we can't avoid the elephant in the room here with the Jay-Z Drake thing. Jay-Z, you have because remember there was that back and forth. Who is allowed to pick what artist performs at the Super Bowl? Right? Oh, it's a committee that picks. No, Jay-Z that picks. At the end of the day, Jay-Z is responsible for allowing Kendrick to perform Not Like Us. A song that
Oh
accused
yeah,
Drake of being
oh yeah.
a pedophile in front of millions of people for the world at one of America's biggest events, right? You can't avoid that the line of reasoning there for why Drake would have a problem with Jay-Z. Because he
Oh
could
yeah,
have
yeah.
decided
I forgot
this is
about
the
that shit.
line we do not cross,
All right, now it makes sense on the
right?
album. Yeah, now it's 100% justified. 100% justified.
You get what I mean? So I think these things are this is the information available to us now. I think more is going to leak and drop out between what's going on with all these different parties. Um, who was told what, who's involved with what,
Yeah.
and we're going to see because now this is bleeding into the streaming world. What are the streamers saying and
Yeah.
who got paid to say what and X, Y, and Z? I'm like, the rabbit hole is much deeper than just the music at this point. And
So
that's where Jay-Z's legacy lies, is because, like, where do you stand in the middle of all of this when the fallout comes and all of the information becomes available to everyone?
a lot of people are gonna get hurt. A lot. A lot of people are gonna get hurt. Like,
Or we just move on as usual. Maybe.
yeah.
I don't know. I don't
No,
know.
yeah, we move on to AI artists. That's what
Yeah,
the fuck
yeah.
is gonna happen.
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
The AI artists are gonna come in and they're just gonna wreak havoc, bro.
Yeah.
Because these guys can just push out so much more content. You'll have agentic managers,
Yeah.
agentic, all this shit. But yeah, we don't want to go to get into all that shit. That would be crazy. What I forgot to do is we should have done a live for this, man. We should have went live for this.
Yeah.
Should have went
Yeah.
live for this.
Next
Next
time. Next
time.
time. Next time for
Next time,
sure.
because then we could differentiate when we do these to compare to like when we actually record together.
Okay. Okay. Next time.
So we
Next
could
week
do
we'll do
that.
the live.
We'll do
Next week we'll
that.
do the live.
We'll do the live because like we said, our goal is just to be give you guys more content, a little bit
Yeah.
more, as much content as we can fit in our time. So, yeah,
Content and context. I think like a lot of
yeah,
context is
bro,
often missing, a lot of dancing around. Fortunately for us, we don't have industry ties, so I don't feel like
yeah,
we have to be biased. And
yeah,
more importantly, I'm like, a lot of this music news is not put in a way
yeah,
that is like for
yeah.
anybody to understand and follow. So
Like we said, we when we talk about the show and we talk about music all the time and we talk about the media outlets and stuff, which we're gonna have a talk about soon. The only the only guy we think who does a good job of it is academics. I think he's the only one that does a fair job of addressing both sides and giving context. I would say he's
yeah,
the only one that comes close to what we try and do here.
yeah, because I think like Act for the most part, because he's streaming so frequently and he covers a broad spectrum of the music news, it's one of the reasons why I do listen to him a bit more despite his biases. I'm not gonna say he's right about everything, he don't be glazing Drake, but I'm saying that, in terms of giving more behind the scenes stuff and being a good predictor of where certain things is gonna go, I think he has his finger on the pulse a little bit more than Joe Budden, them, Rory and
Yeah,
Maul, Ray
yeah,
Daniels, a little bit. But we listen to all of them and try to get as much as of a good take on these things. So
yeah. So Jay-Z, let's see what you got. You need to announce this album soon. I give it
hold
next
on,
month.
question before we go. Did you think that freestyle was all of that?
Nah, not really.
I
Nah.
think it was overly gassed. I'm like, I appreciated the shot, but I'm like, even the Drake bar, I was like, what do y'all got? Like,
Yeah.
what do y'all? I'm like,
You
this is
had
what
to
I'm
be
talking
there.
about. Yeah, I'm like, y'all are fueling it in a way that I'm like, this wasn't that the greatest.
Yeah, yeah. And you could tell because it was what are we talking about now? And Miles Garrett got traded, like with New York Knicks, Spurs, like bro, yeah, and it was Saturday. Bro, I was focused on the Spurs game Saturday. I didn't. I was like, oh, cool. Back to the game.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Back to the game. I'm like, so yeah, yeah. I agree. I agree. I agree. It was like,
yeah,
eh.
yeah. I thought it was all right, but I was like, the way y'all gassing it, I didn't think it was worthy of that. But all right, cool. He said something. I get it.
Yeah,
Respect for the artist. Jay is Jay, so we'll see
yeah.
what happens now.
Bet, bet.
Yeah. All right, my guy.
All right. So
No,
you guys just finished another episode of Understated. This is we gotta. I don't know what I would name this episode. Jay-Z. Like I would put Jay-Z in the John Wick poster with the guns. I would just have that
yeah,
shit.
yeah. Call it. You could call it. You know, Drake is Iceman. Call it Jigga Man because that's what you call
Jigga,
him.
Jigga man, yeah,
Jigga
yeah.
Man.
For real, for real. That's simple, simple enough. But
Yeah.
yeah, but we appreciate you guys tuning in. Look forward to more content from us, and we'll see you guys soon. Peace.
So, peace.